Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro, and I'm here with the beautiful Jessie.
Hello, guys. Welcome back. We're excited to have you.
And it's October, and for anybody who knows me, in true form, gotta stay with the 31 days of Halloween.
I look forward to it every single year.
You know what? I was like thinking about like skipping out a little bit, and I had like 15 people the other day. They're like, "We can't wait for you to start," and I'm like,
"Do you feel like you have additional pressure because to up yourself every year? Because every year I've been seeing you do it, you get crazier and crazier with it."
Little bit, and especially since now I mixed in like the TikTok and everything, and like trying to do them themed a little bit, just because. I mean, I don't like to like keep doing the same look every year, but
yeah, I get it.
The first year I haven't gone with a clown or a skeleton for the first.
Dang, I loved your It last year, so I'm so excited to see what's coming next for the 31 days. But I'll let you get to the intro because I'm just as excited to talk about who we're having on. Tell us, Allie.
So tonight we have the dynamic American rock band New Medicine on with us. Known for their high energy performances and genre blending sound, their music is fueled by catchy hooks, raw emotion, and a rebellious spirit, making them stand out in the modern rock scene. After a brief hiatus, New Medicine returned with new material, continuing to captivate fans with their unique sound and relentless energy. And they are here tonight to tell us all about it.
Welcome.
Hey, what's up? Great intro.
I know.
Raw, rebellious spirit. I like that. That's a good definition for us.
So
and you got our little logo up there. I like that.
Yeah.
Our little skull.
How are you doing tonight?
We were just saying before the show that we love your logo.
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
I love it. Yep. You get there's a little the little red cross in the eye and then the heart nose. I mean, come on, there's a lot in there, you know. I love it too. It's kind of our new branding. We have a new website and all that stuff. So yeah, love it.
Tell us about everything. So you just released Head Down.
Yep. Crushing. Just released Head Down. We also just had a collab with this guy, Sam Tenez, who's like probably like the voice of TV. Like he has so many big songs and movies and television stuff. And we did a song called Energy like a few weeks before that. And but yeah, I was so excited about Head Down because it's kind of like it's just New Medicine 2024. It's just like we just try to keep amping up. And I think it's one of our best songs. And like you guys were saying in our intro, mixing genres, like there's some hip hop, there's some rock. Mm-hmm. This is kind of a little bit of everything, and there's catchy hooks in there. But I think there's again, like you guys nailed it. Like we always, I think, have this rebellious spirit of kind of like, you know, fuck you kind of vibe. You know what I mean? And I think that comes off in it, and like don't count us out kind of thing. And that not only does that go with like the band, but that's just kind of like my personal kind of that's how I am. I'm just like, don't tell me I can't do it. I'll prove you wrong. And
that's your mantra.
Exactly. And we keep doing that to the industry that keeps like not counting us in, you know what I mean? And like we got dropped. We just keep coming back. And that's kind of what that song's about, is like not listening to outside noise, keeping your head down, staying focused and doing what you do.
Well, we love the new music. I mean,
thank you.
How was it with everything with TikTok? Because I know Fire Up the Night went like extremely viral. It was coming up in my suggested like every other time.
Yeah. Well, so with TikTok, that was interesting. Like I just started, I mean, like we had just got off our hiatus and then like, TikTok was like starting to blow up. And I think, I let maybe a year pass, but I never made one for us. And I was just kind of like, I'm going to focus on whatever we have a lot of other stuff. And I was just putting a few songs out there as kind of feelers of like, is there still an audience? And the few songs I put out just started to like really grow fast. And I was like, oh, wow. And I thought, well, like, everyone keeps talking about this TikTok. I'm like, whatever. I'm in my 30s now. And I'm like, this is kind of like for young people, but whatever. I'm going to do it. And then I was like, oh wow, like the music all of a sudden I found, first of all, there was already people on TikTok using our sounds. And then I was like, oh wow, there's already a lot of people on here that love our stuff. And then I'm like, hey, I'm the guy that sings that stuff, right? And then I just kind of dove into it, and it's really been a huge way for us to connect with people. And I mean, every single day I'm like followers, like, and new people finding our music, which is so beautiful because I'm at a point in my life where like I've had 2 record deals and I've played ball that way, and I don't think it's necessary anymore, and I don't want to do it anymore. I have like a kind of I know what I don't want to do, and I know where I won't sell out anymore, and I'm not doing that. And this allows me to connect with my fans directly, and there's no like pay to play kind of thing, you know what I mean? And so I love TikTok, and now I'm on it every day, and you have to like get me off that thing because I'm just scrolling.
Isn't it addicting?
So
I was
addicting.
doing the same thing because I was trying to get to 5,000 so that I could sell other people's stuff out of their store.
Yep.
Man, I get so addicted. It like almost like gives me a reason to like do myself up the extra.
Absolutely. And it's hard though. It's like sometimes you go crazy on one. Like I'll sit there and edit a video or something for like an hour and post it and nothing happens. And like one of our first really viral videos, I just posted a piece of our lyric video for the song Take Me Away, and people just went bananas with it. And all of a sudden, like I was like out that night, like out at the bar, and I was like, I looked at my phone and it was like 1,000 followers in like, I mean, like in like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I zipped through it all and like got it back to 0. And then like I put my phone away, and like 10 minutes later I opened up, it was like 1,000 followers. And I was like, oh shit, I think we're going viral. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. And then for the Fire Up the Night, like that song just keeps finding more people. I don't even understand. I mean, actually, I mean, there's this thing called Book Talk, which I didn't know what that even was. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, and I apparently, I guess it's like for people that read like what, sexy romance novels or something.
Yeah.
Is that right? Jesse, you look like you know.
I get really, I love finding really niche subcultures, even if I don't subscribe to them. Like Book Talk, and then I ended up on Reddit. Like it was a bread-based subreddit. Like
I love that,
finding like really niche little communities. It's like one of the things to do, just to admire the fact that there's a community for everything. And I love seeing people belong. And it sounds like you're creating, like your music is creating its own little like your fan base, your fans can feel like where they can belong on your TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Take Me Away is the other one that's done really well. And that's kind of more about like mental health or whatever. But it's interesting because they're completely different things. But like, and then I have a song called Fuck It that people just like, because I think they just like that, like, it's exactly what you think about it. It's like, yeah, fuck it. Like it's that spirit. And it's like, who doesn't feel that at some point? And so every day I love, one of my favorite things to do. And I mean, it's kind of hard because it's gotten to be a lot. Like at first, especially when a song is like young, like head down, like there's only like a few people using the sound right now. But like when you get to like Take Me Away on Instagram has like 100,000 uses. So there's 100,000 videos. So I sometimes just go scrolling through and I'll be like, oh my God, this has got 20 million views. I'm like, holy shit, they're using my song. And then like Fire Up the Night's the same one, and Fuck It. And it's kind of fun to see what everybody uses with it or whatever. And that's been really cool for me, is just to watch how did you guys interpret the song and what does it mean to you? And just seeing someone passionately, like as cheesy as it might sound, like watching them like sing along and like in their own way, they're passionate. Like if they're singing Take Me Away, they're like, they're singing the lyrics like they mean it. Like they're like, it's like they're feeling what I was singing. Yeah. And I'm watching them and I'm like, hey, it's just a cool feeling to see.
That's awesome. So where did the name New Medicine come from?
It just it came from like, well, we had a bunch of different like names we were thinking about at the time. And we used to have a band called A Verse Unsung, which was like a big mouthful. And it was like hard. What? And anyways, we had written a bunch of different words out. And then like, we kind of liked the word medicine. And then we were kind of putting different words around it, like new medicine, bad medicine, this. And then like the idea for me was always, music is medicine. I always would say that, like, that's my favorite drug. Because when I was young, I would just feel like so high off of like a song. Like when I would just put a record on and if I was like sad or mad or happy or whatever, I would just feel euphoric when I would listen to music. And I was like, that's like a drug to me. And there still isn't, I mean, like you know, I've been in a rock band, so like I've had my, you know, share of experiences, and it's like there's still nothing that like music is a different thing. It's just so, you know, unique. And so like it comes from like music being medicine and us having kind of our own flavor of it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So who are some of the people that have inspired you and that you're listening to right now?
It ranges so much over the years, right? Like when I was young, once like when I really got into rock, I mean I started with like Nirvana, like that was the easy, like, you know, hey, everyone loves, I mean, all Nirvana and the grunge stuff, Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, and just kind of worked through the lineage of that. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm too young, like Kurt Cobain's already dead. And you know, like, so what else? And there's like, oh, Foo Fighters. And then I'm like, oh, Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl plays in this band, Queens of Stone Age. And I'm like, that Queens of Stone Age is definitely one of my favorite bands. I love Josh, his guitar playing, and just that band's amazing. So they're a huge influence on like my guitar playing. Now I loved Eminem, right? Like I loved hip hop. So like when Eminem came out, I'm like, it was at that era where I'm like, I don't know, like 12 or something when he came out, like young, but old enough to kind of understand a little bit. And it was like, I wasn't supposed to be watching MTV, and I'm like, this is sick. Like he's so controversial. Like, so that rebelliousness that he has, I definitely take that into our music. You know what I mean? So it's like, here you go. Here's some guitar playing kind of. Josh has a very choppy, like drumming style guitar playing, because I'm a drummer first. And I think he is too. He plays drums on a lot of the records. And, but then having that like kind of Rosh, I'll say anything kind of thing to get a rise out of you, like that Eminem would say. Like he would just be like, fuck you. And I'm like, yeah, I'll say that shit. I don't, you know, like I like to say something not safe. I don't want to play it safe. So that's an influence. But I mean, I span every genre, and then I got into really heavy music for a while. I got into punk for a while. Like I went to every Warped Tour and like saw Tiger Army and Anti-Flag and like AFI and like, and then it was the screamo bands like Thrice and Under Oath. And I recently, the drummer Aaron from Under Oath lives in Nashville, and like we write together now, which is so cool. And like,
awesome. They just played Philadelphia and the turnout was incredible. It's amazing seeing how they affected so many people's sound. And just like the amazing turnout. I was surprised, and then I wasn't surprised at the turnout at the same time, because I feel like they're such an influential legacy band. So that's really cool to be writing with somebody.
Yeah, it was like I bought a ticket, right? Like I was at a show. Like I remember I bought a ticket to see Thrice, and then they were opening and they had not like broken out yet. And it was on their first record. I guess they had, but I hadn't discovered them yet. It was like MySpace days.
Yeah.
And like they opened, and all of a sudden, like I'm standing in the crowd, and everyone just like rushed the stage and started screaming like all the words, like, can you feel my heart? And I'm like, what is this? And then I was like, the next day I bought their record then, and I was like obsessed. I was like, these guys are freaking amazing. Aaron is such a nice guy. And we're going to do something together with New Medicine. Actually, like, he's definitely going to drum on what he wants to drum on a song for ours. And we've written a couple songs together now that I want to put out. So yeah, that's been cool. So they're an influence, like that whole scene, I guess. Thrice, Under Oath, AFI. But then like I literally listen to everything. So like I love Chapel Roan. I think she's amazing. Like I'm like,
I love her.
She's incredible. You know,
I think we have so many good things happening in pop music these days. I think
100%.
it's not just pop, it's everything is country. Like we have artists like Orville Peck and stuff like that. Everybody is really pushing the envelope like you are.
Yep.
And they are doing things differently. And I think putting art first over everything. And I've seen a lot of artists take that mindset, and it's so impressive to me what people are doing in the art they're creating. So.
Well, I think that you're finding artists that are like, you know, in my generation, or then even younger, obviously, but like my generation being the generation of like mixed CDs, and then like MySpace, like the tail end of like the CD buying albums thing, and into like the Napster, and then into downloads and into streaming. Like that's kind of what, as I was growing up, that was all happening. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't just want to listen to the bands on the rock station. Like I want to hear this other stuff, or like this obscure music, or like, you know what I mean? I remember when this guy at the record store was like, have you ever heard Mars Volta? And I was like, what is that? He's like, there's this crazy band. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I checked them out. And like, just, I don't know, just handing me random records and going like, oh, wow, that's cool. But now it's just so wide open, and like you can go on Spotify and just listen to whatever you want anytime. And so that's, I'll just go down rabbit holes and stuff. And I love just great songwriting. The songwriting, I feel like in everybody, like there's so much vulnerability right now in music. Everyone's truly writing more like specific and like very just, like I said, I don't know, just authentic lyrics and stuff. Like even Sabrina Carpenter, I'm like, oh wow, she like really lays it out there for people.
Oh,
like,
I know.
You know, I'm like this. That's great though. To me as a writer, I'm like, that's interesting. At least like she's being real, not being like I said, being safe, right? Like you might hear songs from the 80s and like, I love you and we had it in your eyes, and it's like so like generic, and like that's so much more like poignant to me. And so I'm really happy where music is right now.
I remember when I was a kid, when you would have somebody that was on the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon or something come out and make an album. It was the safest thing, safe thing you could manufacture. And now the Sabrina Carpenter album, I was like, wasn't she on like Disney Channel or something?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Okay, girl.
Like, okay.
Yeah, get it.
I was I'm really impressed by her, and she's semi-local. I think she's right up the street from you, Allie, originally. So
really?
Yeah, she's from Quakertown.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
there you go.
A local legend. I say she comes in second to that Quakertown alligator they had.
There you go. That's awesome.
Wally.
Yeah.
What was it? What is his name?
His name's Wally.
Oh, Wally. Oh my God. Amazing.
Nice.
I'll have to get Wally on next.
Nice.
So are there any instruments or elements that you're looking to add on the new music?
I mean, I'm always buying new, like, you know, plugins or like stuff. Cause I mean, in the digital world now, there's so much, so many options now, which I think is great because it's leveled the playing field. Like you're looking at my upstairs, like bonus room above my garage that I've turned into a studio. It's not huge, but it's plenty for me. And like, I have my amp set up over here and I have that's my vocal mic. And like, I'm making records like here a lot. I might go cut drums somewhere and whatever, but like we're in here and like, and it's leveled the playing field. That's why you don't need a record deal. You know what I mean? And like, I did the work by just like grinding and watching. Every time I was in the studio when we were on a record label and like, I got an awesome opportunity to be with a huge producer or whatever, I was just like watching. I was asking, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why are you using that plugin? Why are you using that on the guitars? Like, you know, how are you EQing that? Why are you doing that with the, you know, and just learn so that like, because I'm just like a DIY person of like a punk. And I'm just like, hey, I don't want to wait for someone else to do it. I want to do it myself. Like I want to like learn. And so it's been amazing because it's, like I said, it's democratized music by having streaming. And then the technology has also caught up. So you have democratization of music. Hey, you don't have to listen to the radio. You pick what you want to listen to. You know what I mean? Like you go on Spotify, pick whatever you want. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's what's brought so many fans to New Medicine. And then the technology has met up to be like, hey, you don't need to spend, you know, because we would spend so much money on a record. Like, you know, when we had a record deal and then you go in the hole so bad and then you're in the hole and, you know, like I didn't make any money when I had 2 record deals. Like I was broke because they're just spending on all the other stuff. And yeah, they take you out to fancy dinners, but then you have to recoup all that. And I was like, this is a joke, you know what I mean? And so now with the new record, I would say I have some new, obviously, like I've been putting a lot of analog synths and stuff, which is like real like synthesizers and stuff. Yeah. But I bought a couple new guitars that I'm really excited about. There's a company here in Nashville called Novo Guitars that I bought one, and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere up here. I have a million guitars up here, but yeah, that. And then just, we're always trying to incorporate, really for me, it's about songwriting. And then like, I like blending the real instruments with a synth or like a loop or something. Like I like to always blend in super modern stuff with still having that like backbone of rock. Like, so like Head Down has like a lot of guitars and a lot of like, it's got real bass on it. It's got a lot of real stuff on it. And then it has also some synths and stuff in there as well. And like you could throw strings on there to give it a bunch of depth, but it just makes your music so much more dynamic, you know?
What are you mixing and recording this? Are we doing Reason, FL Studios?
Pro Tools.
Okay.
I'm old in Pro Tools. And then I use a lot of Universal Audio stuff. I have this C12 mic that I love. It's just like my baby that I saved up for. And Yeah, mostly I'm just here at the house. I have kind of a pretty good setup here. And like I said, we'll go to a studio. I don't know if you guys know the band A Day to Remember, but like Kevin, the guitar player, lives like 2 streets down, and he built a badass like drum room in the back of his house. And so like we'll cut drums. He's like a friend. He's from Minnesota. That's where I'm from. And we've known each other for literally like 20 years. And we'll go cut drums at his house, but then like we'll do the rest here. Or like maybe we'll do some guitars with his amps, but then some over here, like just call upon friends and stuff. Or like Aaron's gonna play on a song on From Under Oath, and like he has his own studio like in East Nashville too, like 10 minutes from me. So it's like it's just fun. That's the beautiful thing about Nashville is like there are so many studios and home studios and people, and like everyone's down to share and jump in and hey, I'll play on that. Let me, you want to use my studio? So it's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. It sounds like, when you have so many creative people in your area, it really helps elevate the music scene.
Absolutely. I think surrounding yourself with people that are better than you is like the best thing you can do. And like when I first got to Nashville, I was like, oh boy, like I'm like not even close to any of these people, right? Like, and I've slowly and I still feel that way around some people, and there's sometimes and some days, because like I have a publishing deal here in Nashville where like I write songs for other artists professionally. That's like my day job, if you will, like, and there are some days I definitely feel like, hey, I got a lot of experience here. Like this artist is kind of new and they don't know exactly how to work their way around a studio or like around a lyric or something. And like, I have this muscle that I've built up of like writing songs every day, because I probably write like 130, 140 songs a year. So it's wow. At this point, I've had a publishing deal for 8 years, and it's like I've probably written over 1,000 songs easily. And so like just that repetition. And then every time I do a song, I'm making a track, like a demo. And the demos turn into records though now, like it's like, wow, that demo sounds really good. That's how I started with Adelita's Way. Rick, I used to open up for Adelita's Way, and Rick from the band was like, dude, do you want to just produce this song? Because like your demo sounds amazing. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. I was like, I wanted someone to take a shot on me. And I just thought like, hey, why not now? Why not this song? Why not today? And that song was their song Notorious. And that song's like about to go gold. It's got like 70 million streams. And like, that was my first production that I just trusted my instincts, trusted my gut, and said yes, and fake it till you make it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's me with everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get places.
So let's go back to head down for a minute. What were you thinking when you were writing the song? Like, what vibe were you going with?
Well, I knew like I had written down the title Head Down. Like, I don't know if I saw it on like someone said it in a sports thing or something. Someone said it in an interview. I just heard that. Like, I'm just going to keep my head down. It's got to keep your head down. Or I was saying it all the time. Like, hey, I'm not worried about outside noise. I just got to keep my head down and focus. So I had that idea. And then like, I just was like, sometimes when I have a title, I'll just start like throwing rhymes around in my head, and I'll be like, head down, dead now, when now, said down, blah, blah, just throwing random stuff, even if it doesn't sound like a word until it becomes a word. And like, I remember thinking like, all my enemies are dead now, head down. And it's a perfect rhyme, right? And I'm like, because I learned that from Eminem, where he's used to write down like a million rhymes. And that's how a song is usually born for me. Like, I'm just kind of thinking about it. And like, as my, I might even like, I probably had that in my phone for like weeks or months. And then I just kind of had the chorus. Like I had some of those lines that I started they started revealing themselves of like, all my enemies are dead now, dead now. I just keep my head down. Like, and then when I had a writing session with these 2 Australian producers I really like working with, because sometimes I'm always in this producer chair, like tweaking the sounds and EQing and stuff. And then I have to be like focused on so much of the minutia and not the 50,000 foot like creative, and just be like, hey, you guys deal with the, so when I work with them, I can kind of sit back and like go, hey, about this guitar riff, and like, let me freestyle some words out, and they kind of came in and we just instantly like, I was like kind of like a beat like this, and then had this like kind of like, I don't even know what the riff is, but like I just bought this new guitar and I was like, let's use this guitar. Like I just bought it. Like I got it yesterday. And then that's kind of how that song was born, and like just born out of like not looking at outside noise and keeping your head down and staying focused, because I don't know how many. Oh, cute dog. Is that what kind of dog is that?
Mine's doing the same thing. I actually
he was
zooming around the like floor.
I was like, I have to pick him up or we're never going to get through this.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mine's somewhere downstairs. He's an Australian Shepherd. His name's Waylon.
Oh, Waylon.
I know. I don't know where he is, but
he's a Papillon.
Oh, cuties.
The cutest Chihuahua you'll ever see.
Love it. Yeah, I love my dog. We want to get more. But yeah, that song is just, that's kind of where that song was born out of, and I think it does, like, it speaks to like the band, our band, because just like so many people in, like, I remember someone saying like, really, you're gonna go on TikTok, dude? And I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, it's like, I'm not going on the radio. Like, you know, I'm not selling out to do that. I know that because I'm not signing to a label. So I know I'm not going to get radio. So even though I've been offered record deals again, I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to do it my own way.
Learn your lesson of control.
Exactly. You give up all the control. You give up so much. And they say they don't, but you do. You just do. Like, I had another friend that like blew up on TikTok last year. He signed a major record deal and he's like, dude, I freaking hate it. Like, he said they weren't going to do this, and then they're doing it all. All the stuff they said not to do, they're doing. And so Head Down is just kind of like that spirit of like this band too, of just like, I'm not listening to anybody else that's saying like, you shouldn't really do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, shut up. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm putting out the songs that I believe in and I love and trust in my gut. And like, that's got me this far. And here we are. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you've been in the game long enough to know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Like, you have really like taken the elements of like when you were in the recording studio, you learned how to do everything yourself to be very self-sufficient. So you can always retain control. And I really admire that.
Well, it's not only just that, it's like, yeah, it's all encompassing, right? Like I learned the economics of the music industry as well, of like going like, okay, when the labels would spend a ton of money on a music video, especially nowadays, like you can cut that back so much and you don't need to spend that much, and you can be creative. Like my guitar player, Dan, lives in LA and he's like an actor and he loves doing like video stuff. And so we've shot these like incredible music videos. Like the music video for Fuck It and Dangerous are like lights out our best videos. And like he produced those. And like when we went to LA and like we just like asked for favors and like had our buddies help us shoot it. And like it looks like a movie because we just scraped together this stuff. And we're like, we don't need like a huge sound stage and to spend a bunch of money, and like, let's do it ourselves. And that's kind of everything in this band now. And like, don't get me wrong, if there's some things I want to do, I've also learned to just ask stuff, right? Like Aaron from Under Earth, I'm like, hey, would you ever do a song with us? I'm like, you can say no. Like he could say no. Sam Tenez, I was like, dude, we like had coffee. I like got his info from my publisher and I said, hey man, could I take you out for coffee? And then we like did. And I was like, he's got like 5 million monthly listeners. And I'm like, hey dude, would you ever want to do a song with my band, New Medicine? He's like, let me check it out. And then like we had coffee and then he's like, dude, absolutely, let's do it. And it's like, you know, I know like there's some stuff that like people ask me like, why aren't you guys on this tour or doing this? And I'm like, because there's some stuff in the business that like they're going to block us out of some stuff because we're not like signed with some people. So I know I'm going to sacrifice some of that, but the peace I have at night and just being like, hey, when I want to put a song out, I just press upload and no one's going to tell me I can't do it. And if, you know, a fan wants something, I can just reach right out. Like we can do stuff like this. I don't have to go through a million people. Like, just come right to me. And so there's some piece that I'm cool with that. And I've had my day in the sun of like the major record deal. And like, I was on the radio. Like I did that. I got to tour with Avenged Sevenfold in arenas. And like, there's so many cool things I got to do. It's not that I don't want to do those anymore. I just want to do them on my own terms. And we're starting to make so much noise because we're at almost 2 million monthly listeners again. And it's like, you know, we're making our own noise and I'm just doing my own thing. And if it like people are starting to recognize every time we go play shows, and like, we're going to do a bunch of shows next year now, like our agents are fired up again. And it's just, so it's like, we're just doing it on our own terms now.
I love
Definitely.
that.
You guys seem like you have so much fun too.
I do. I love it. That's why I do it. I try to remember that. Sometimes when I'm working with other artists and I'm like the producer for them, and I'm not having fun, I get like discouraged because I'm like, I don't love your idea. Like they might override something and say like, no, I don't like that. Can we actually do this? And I'm like, all right, sure. And then I'm like, I don't love this anymore. You know what I mean? But when it's my project, I always remember, hey, this got to be fun. And even when we go on the road, we're always like, hey, let's make this fun. Like, let's go out to dinner and let's like, I don't know, just have fun have fun on stage, have fun after, have fun traveling. You know, it's just, we want to make it fun. We don't want to make it like miserable, you know?
Now, since you are a producer and the songwriter, and do you have like a schedule of when you are releasing songs, or do you just kind of like freestyle it? And
that's a good question. No, there's some thought that goes into it, like of strategy, I guess, of like, you know, not oversaturating, but also like in this modern age, like I am writing a lot and I do have a lot of material to get out there. So like when I feel like, hey, we haven't put a song on in a minute, and I'm trying to work on this, like this illustrious like third album, because when I started, I was just going to put a few songs out, and then I'm like, oh shit, over the last year and a half, 2 years, I'm like, yeah, we're like full on, you know, like this is all I'm doing I'm doing this so much more now. And I was working with other artists way more back then. And now I'm like, hey, my project's the biggest thing I'm working on. I got to work on this. And so right now I probably have 10 or 15 other songs that I'm like in the middle of right now that like I just need to wrap up the productions on. And like I was trying to do everything myself. And like I said, I've met a few collaborator producers. There's a producer from Canada and these two guys from Australia that I work really well with. And so I'm able to like tell myself, hey, I can delegate some of this to them and like help it with me. And like, I'll send files to my drummer in LA, and like, he'll play drums on it and then send them back. And then my guitar player, and then my bass player lives in Amsterdam. And so we're just kind of all over the world here. And then I'm like sending files to these guys in Australia to mix. And like, so the strategy is like, we do want to put this third album out, but at this point it's like going to be like 24 songs or so. I don't even know how many. But I'm watching people like Morgan Wallen do that, where you put 36 songs out at once. And like, there's going to be a lot of songs that like, maybe you've heard a few of them, but then there's also going to be like 10, 12, 15 new ones. And so I'm really like, we were like behind the scenes. There's a lot of like, details with like some songs with another distributor and another label. And I've gotten them all back into the same place now. In order to put an album out digitally, you have to be in the same place. And that took me like 6 months, 8 months to like get my rights back from old songs and new songs and like kind of get them all in the same place. So that was actually the biggest like logistical hurdle, but that's pretty much done now. So now I'm like, I have that all in the same place. All my records are in the same house, and we own them all. And then now we have like these 10 or 12 songs that just I need to wrap up. And then that's when I'm going to put that album out or whatever. But in the meantime, I have a hard time not dropping stuff. Like when I wrote Head Down and I finished it, I was like, this is sick. I don't want to wait to put this out. I want my fans to have it right now. So I just put it out, you know?
I would love to see what Spotify playlists, what names of the Spotify playlist that you're on, because your music, like, well, I was like, even trying to describe your like sound and style, like, it depends on what song. It depends on what fate. Like, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
How would you describe your overall sound and style for someone that's never heard any of your music? What would you say?
Oh, I don't even know. I guess it's like, yeah, like you did a good job earlier. I think like a rebellious, like, you know, Queens of Stone Age guitars meets hip hop beats meets like, you know, pop hooks. I don't know. That's kind of trying to think like an edgier, like there's some like 21 Pilots vibes. I don't know. I mean, but we still have this kind of rock sound still. So I don't know. It'd be hard for me to even say, I guess. I definitely think we're leaning in more of a modern direction. You know what I mean? Like kind of, like we all talked about earlier, like kind of mixing genres together. You know what I mean? When you would have found us like 10 years ago, like our first record's way more just straight up rock. We weren't, you know, bringing in all these new instruments and stuff. And now I think we're way more modern. So
definitely. Now, you have played a lot of places in the past. What are some of the places that you would like to play in the future?
I mean, I would say, well, first of all, I've played a show in every state except Alaska. So I definitely want to do Alaska. So just to be like bucket list, all 50 states done. I mean, I'd love to. We got to play Red Rocks when we were like a baby band, like nobodies, but that's a venue I would always love to play. But I think I would just like to say, like, you know, we've come back about like 4 years ago. We really started coming back, and we slowly have kind of like put a few songs out, play a few shows, put a few more songs out, play a few more shows. And now we're at this point of like, hey, this is really working. We got to do this. And like, we just did some shows. We did a show here in Nashville in like last year we did our hometown in Minneapolis, and it was like just about sold out, but like it was our biggest show we've ever done there. And I'm like, I really just want to go see the fans in all these markets we used to play as a baby band and be like, hit Grand Rapids, Michigan, hit like Spokane, Washington, hit, St. Louis and Kansas City, and like hit like Florida. Like there's so many spots. Hit Louder Than Life, and like some of these big festivals we haven't played in a long time. And like, I just want to hit them again as this new version of us with all this like success now. I want to go see the fans and see them sing the song. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And I'm so glad you brought up Louder Than Life. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our friends that played at Louder Than Life and that were at Louder Than Life. It looked a little crazy there at first, like with the weather and everything. Like, but I saw a lot of people on my feed that were toughing it out in their ponchos and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. A bunch of my friends played. Citizen Soldier played there. And I think Letdown played maybe. I don't remember if they were there. But a bunch of my friends. Yep, for sure. So, yeah, I'd love to get back to all those spots. Next year, we're planning on doing a lot of festivals to like really try to get back out to the fans. So I'm excited.
It's awesome. Do you have any shows locally or like that are coming up?
We just did Nashville, like I said. We did Nashville, Johnson City, which I don't know if the floods and all that stuff. I don't know how Johnson City's even doing now, but Johnson City. And then we did a show with Breaking Benjamin up in Pennsylvania, like about a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that we're gonna do any of the rest of this year, just because we're working on the album right now. But definitely in the new year, I have a bunch. Like my agents were like, "Hey, you want to do a spring run here?" And we've had a couple different things we've been throwing around, and then like, we're definitely going to hit festival season next year. So I think you're going to see a lot of us next year, and there's going to be a lot of new music. I'm kind of like using the rest of the year to finish this project and like launch it in the new year. And then there's also going to be like a special 10-year anniversary of Breaking the Model, our second album, where I'm going to like throw some bonus songs on there. And there's like, I want to do a version of Fire of the Night with a female artist that I have in mind that like, if I get her to say yes, it would be amazing. So I can't say yet, but if that happens, it would be amazing. So I feel like next year is going to be busy.
And we could just like nonchalantly harass her.
No, it's okay. We'll see. It wouldn't be her saying no. It would be her record label, honestly. So I'm going to try. And but regardless, I think there's a lot planned for next year. So you're going to see a lot of us next year out there. So
something for us to look forward to.
For sure.
Now, our fans love Easter eggs. Can you tell us any Easter eggs in your videos or songs?
Easter eggs in either of them.
Or even something that what got added that was unexpected or
Well, I would say one of these things, I would say you if you listen to our second album, they weren't probably supposed to do it, but all the members of Hailstorm are singing background vocals on that album. And then their record label, they never cleared it, I don't think. So like people probably don't know that, but like Lizzie and Joe and RJ and Josh are singing. I have pictures of us all in the studio. I was like, hey, will you guys come sing on our record? And like they came in because we needed like gang vocals. So if you hear that record, like they're all over that record in the background vocals. And I'm like a bunch of songs, and they never asked their record label. So good for them. And we love Hailstorm. So that's a little Easter egg for you. They're on that record a bunch, and they're good friends that live here in Nashville. And so you might even hear Joe or somebody on a record here soon, because they're such good friends and good people. And I love those guys. And so that's a little Easter egg for you.
We just played the
barbecue. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they're the best. They're the best. And Lizzie's amazing. And they live like 20 minutes from me here. But yeah, that's a little Easter egg for you guys.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite track
of our songs?
Yep.
Yeah, I would say I have a couple in mind. As far as a track goes, Desire and the Goal, which is not one of our bigger streaming songs, I always love that song. And I think like the track and the song is so tough, and like it's exactly like where I really felt like I started like opening up this new world of like blending the hip hop and the samples and the synths with guitars and like this fuck you kind of sound. And like it has this like, Rage Against the Machine influence, and like that was a huge influence on me. I forgot to mention them. because they mix like hip hop and rock so well, obviously, like so well, and just attitude, right? And so like that song for me, if you go back and listen to it, I think it's one of our better songs and better tracks. So I love that song. But as far as the new ones go, like I love Die Trying is so simple and so so clear. Like it's just all about the lyrics and like so naked. I love that one for that reason.
Now, out of those, which one would you suggest new listeners listen to besides Head Down?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, Head Down's a really good representation of like right
now, everybody.
Of like right now. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Die Trying was kind of the first song we put out after our hiatus. And like, that was like, I remember people were like, oh, it doesn't have guitars all over it. And I'm like, yeah, because I want to like try new sounds, right? Like I want to try to like, and there is guitar on it, but it's just like not all guitars. And I'm like, I want to hear the vocals and the lyrics and like put some other music around it. And so I think that one's cool for that reason. But Desire is a good kind of in the middle thing. And then like we have a song called Dangerous that like when we play that song live, and I love that track, and like it's so wild. I'm saying like crazy shit in the lyrics just because I was just trying to be fun and like, you know, eating chicken fried rice, all these random ass lyrics. That's another one I would say like of a new song. Dangerous is one of my favorites, and the video is so funny.
Oh, that's great. So how do you see rock music evolving, and how does New Medicine fit into that vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing it right now. Just I think bands like Bring Me the Horizon really like brought a lot of stuff into, you know, they also were like using like heavy synths and like strings, and like I think they were like really on the forefront of that and being really heavy, but like also with these like a scream, but like a real song there too still, and like he sings still. So like I think they're like really cool. But I think like you guys we were all talking about earlier, like music is so like, I'm a little bit, to be honest, like I'm a little bit less interested in the stuff that's like kind of like the stuff we've already heard. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to name any bands, but I think we could all name a bunch, especially like on active rock radio, where I'm like, these bands have been around forever and they put another record out and another record out, and another record, and they all sound the same. Like, I'm less interested in those bands. I'm more interested in bands that are like mixing genres and stuff, like, or just pushing the envelope. Like I was mentioned, 21 Pilots. And I think there are some bands, don't get me wrong, like a band like Queens of Stone Age is just so good as a band. Like they can just kind of do what they do, and it's just interesting and it's cool. Yeah. They always are reinventing themselves. But like just like too corporate-y stuff, like I don't think that stuff, like I don't think people are as interested in that anymore. You know what I mean? Like they want something a little more like real, vulnerable, genre pushing. You have like Michael Hardy, he's like doing country rock, you know, like all of a sudden Machine Gun Kelly's doing country. It's like everything's kind of moving all over the place. I also think that like seeing a band like as much as New Medicine is not part of this, because we kind of are using all these modern sound stuff, like it is refreshing to hear bands that are just playing with their instruments and just kind of being raw. You know what I mean? Like I like that as well. So I think the cool part about music and rock music in general is just like there's room for everybody. So like I'm no longer like I need to compete with the bands on the radio, because I'm like I don't want to be on the radio. I don't really care. I want to go find my own fans over here that don't care about the radio. And the people that care about listening to the radio, if that's how they consume music, then like they have their bands and they can listen to them, you know? And so I think there's room for everybody.
I think that everything is so manufactured in everything that we see. Like television's really manufactured right now. And like everything's really, Instagram's very staged. A lot of like there's a point in time where everything was so produced that when you have artists who are writing something so authentic or sounding so authentic or just making the music they want to make without like a team behind them trying to design the perfect thing, I think it speaks more to people, because I feel like we are so tired of the inauthenticity of things, that we want things that feel real or taste real, and we want real experiences.
Absolutely. And I think you can easily see through the difference. And so the other day I made a post because I was like pissed off that like nobody was seeing our posts on Facebook or Instagram and shit. And I made this post and like we got like 800 comments. It was crazy because I just was like, hey, it's actually, and I said my first comment was like, and just if you're wondering, it's actually me from the band responding. Like, so if you want to talk to me, just message me. And it started off in the morning and I was like, okay, cool. I can handle this. It was like 20 comments, 30 comments, 40. And then it started to go really fast. And I was like, oh shit. But I swear, like if you go on there now, like I think I've not answered, if not everyone, 95% of every comment. And it's like, I want that experience I will take that as far as I possibly can. You know what I mean? Like I'm going like, and doing stuff like this. Like, I'm just like, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. Why not? If you want to chat with me, hit me up,
Let me just tell you, I was so excited when you responded. Like,
Yes.
I happened to be waiting in the line to get into the parking lot at Slipknot, and you responded, and I'm like, I couldn't even get my phone out fast enough to like tell everybody. I was like,
that's awesome.
I got the phone call. She was never gonna believe it. I was
that's awesome. I'm happy to do it. And like if I miss some of these things just because there's a lot of messages on all the platforms, and like I do my best. But like I miss some sometimes, and so I'm glad when I try to like tell myself respond now, because then I'll be like they'll hopefully respond back, and then I'll have to be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And so I'm glad this one worked out, because like I want to do as many as I can, I mean, and be as open as I possibly can be with our fans and everybody.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate it so much. I mean, I was really excited when I
that's awesome. I'm glad I could do it.
Dark. I was like, yeah, when I first reached out, you had just like you had like a wild like viral burst. Yeah. So I was like, oh man, like I probably just got totally washed out.
No, and there's a lot of messages in there, like I said, but like so much of it is just junk and stuff, and so I try to like weed through them as much as I can, and I try to be as genuine as I possibly can by be like responding to anybody that's hitting us up, and so yeah, I'm glad when I find things like this, because I want to do these kind of things, and I'm glad this worked out.
So real quick, what's the most unexpected place that you've ever found inspiration for a song?
Trying to think. Inspiration for a song. I'm like going through the songs in my head. I mean, maybe like in a movie or something, or I'm trying to think of like titles that we have. I had to like listen to our titles and stuff. I mean, a lot of times it's in conversations that you'd be surprised that I'd be like, oh, I'm going to remember. Like someone says something and I'm like, that's a song title. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of our song list and I'm like, are any of these interesting? I mean, Rich Kids, I didn't know, like that's one of our songs that like, I didn't know what the title was going to be. And I just was like writing with this guy, Kevin Kadish, my friend, now my mentor. But at the time I just had met him. And then like, he's like, tell me about yourself, dude. And I was like, well, dude, I was like, I had the riff, but I didn't have any lyrics yet. And he's like, well, tell me about yourself. And I was like, yeah, I'm from this town in Minnesota. Like I grew up on a farm and I'm like poor, but like I went to school with all these rich kids. Cause like I was like on the suburbs, right where the farms and the suburbs meet. And I'm like a poor kid. And then all these rich kids like went to school with me. And so that was kind of a unique, like, I think like title, because I was just like, hey, this is like truly like my life. And I was just kind of like, they pissed me off. I always felt less than around them, And I was always like, I'm going to show you guys, you know what I mean? So that song, I guess is, I didn't think I'd write a song about that, but then like, it just kind of popped out of nowhere. And I was like, Rich Kid, that's a cool title. So.
And now those rich kids are probably following you.
Yeah. They always hit me up to get into shows and stuff. Like, remember me? I went to high school with you. I'm like, nope, don't remember you. No, I don't really care. At this point, I'm just grateful, to be honest. And I'm just kind of think it's funny. I'm just kind of like, oh, now you want to hang out with me now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all of them live like boring lives and stuff. And I'm like, I'm traveling, I'm playing shows, I'm doing what I love, which is fun. So sweet revenge.
So since you're so good with your fans, do you have any standout moments from fan encounters?
I should have thought of some of these earlier. Because there's probably some really great ones. I mean, we've like legit become friends with like some people, you know what I mean? Like we've stayed at their houses and stuff. And like, there was a time in Montana one time where these girls were like, hey, we can come stay at my grandma's house or something. They had like a mansion with a pool, and like we were up all night. They had like this insane house, and like we were jumping off the roof of their house into the pool and like drinking all night. I mean, it was just like so fun, but we're like hanging out with these people we met at the show, and like you'd be so surprised of like you play enough shows, because we probably played 500 shows in like a course of like 5 years, and the people you kind of become friends with, you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of like you see them and it's fun to see them again, you know what I mean? And so we've had a lot of fun nights and like random, like, you know, there was a time in Portland when we played a show and this guy was like, hey, do you want to come stay with us? And like, do you guys need a place to stay? And we were like, kinda, yeah, actually. We were like young and broke and whatever. And like, we were actually opening for Hailstorm on that tour. And like, this guy was like driving a nice car. And I thought, I don't know, he's probably not that weird. And like, there's 4 dudes, like, we're fine, you know, like, let's go stay with this guy. And then like, his house was sick and it was in Portland. And then like, he's like, oh yeah, there's like laundry in the back garage or whatever. And we're like, okay, cool. I might you guys do some laundry back there. Like, it was a day off. And then like, I get back there and there's like a giant like weed farm in his garage, like with like 100 plants and like lights and a grow operation. And like a couple of dudes in my band definitely like to smoke weed. And so it was like, especially back then. And it was like, I was like, yo, what's up with your garage, dude? And he's like, oh, dude, it's legal here. Like, you know, you guys want some? And my band guys are like, and crew are like, yeah, dude. So that's just always fun, random stuff that you find on the road, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah, fun.
I always wanted to go cross country and like stay at like friends that I know houses. And like, but I'd have to throw in a couple people that I know of online, and like every time I like bring it up to anybody, they're like, yeah, that's not going to be safe. Like, that's not safe. Like, you don't.
Yeah, it's different when, especially, I also will say this, when we were doing it, I was like, you know, 22, 23, 24, you know, like I was pretty young, and like I'm with my best friends, and like we didn't give a fuck. We were like, we'll be fine. And there was a couple of hairy situations, I'm not gonna lie, like where we were like, whoa, we shouldn't have like someone said like, come stay with us, and then we were like, yo, we're not staying here, like this is sketchy or something, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like fans that get a little too like, I don't know, just like in your kind of just like annoying, you know, where like they don't leave you alone and you're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have like, they kind of cross the line a little bit too much, where they're like, can I come with you to do this? And then we're like, hey, maybe like give us a minute, you know what I mean? Like give us a little space. So like, it's a little bit of a, but back then, I mean, we just didn't give a shit. We were just having fun. For the most part, it was 9 out of 10 experiences were like awesome. And like maybe once in a while I'd be like, oh, that was kind of weird, but whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So we're rounding up on time. So is there anything else that you can tell us about things that are coming up?
I mean, like I said, I think just a lot of like collabs. I'm going to keep reaching for the stars. And I don't think that like we're even scratched the surface of like all that we're going to do and all the music that's going to come out. You know, like I used to think like, I'm like, you know, I started in this business so young. Like I was 19 when I got my first record deal, and we got signed to Atlantic, and like I'm in my 30s now, and I'm like, dude, I'm just getting started. And like when I look back at all my favorite bands, I'm like, all my favorite bands made their best records in their 30s. Like that's when you like actually know how to use a studio and know how to, you know, write better songs. And like I have so much more life lived, and like can write from so many more experiences. You know what I mean? So I think like the well is deep as far as that goes. Like I have so much more to say and so much more to do. So I just think like you can look forward to a lot of music and a lot of more like collabs of people that you might not think, oh damn, they got a song with them, really? You know, like I think that's going to happen. I believe that I'm manifesting that into existence, and then a lot more shows of us playing shows and getting out there, and I think we're just going to keep making noise until people can't ignore us.
I love
that. And if you come to PA, definitely hit up Nick Myers.
100%
drafts.
Definitely. Absolutely. We're definitely going to we're going to try to do a whole lap next year. So hopefully we'll get to everybody.
Oh, yeah. I hope so.
Awesome.
We're definitely here for it. As far as social media, are you on TikTok the most?
Yeah, probably TikTok, Instagram, and then like Facebook a little bit. And then YouTube has actually been an interesting spot where like a lot of people find us on YouTube globally. Mm-hmm. So like I'm always like talking to people from all over the world on YouTube, like answering comments and stuff. I know there's not much besides comments and stuff, but like I'm always like, whoa, where are these people from? And like it's pretty cool. And Instagram as well is very global. Like we've had a bunch of moments on Instagram And I'm like, whoa, we have like a bunch of people from Brazil, a bunch of people from India, like just randomly, like Poland, like UK, like, so that's cool. So you can hit me on any of them, and I'm on all of them. And I check them daily. So like, if it's not like first thing in the day, like you'll see me respond at some point. You know what I mean?
And basically anything that he remembers after he gets off the show, check his TikTok, because you can just give all the info there.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. Yeah, I'd say TikTok and Insta, any of them. Yeah, just hit me on any of them.
Do you have anything fun planned for the spooky season?
Well, so go ahead, Jesse. What'd you say?
I said we want to know all about your spooky plans.
Well, funny you should ask is that I'm flying to Minnesota on Wednesday to go back to my hometown to visit my parents and my sister and brother and everybody. But we own a pumpkin patch. That's what my family does. When I said I grew up on a farm, I grew up on a pumpkin farm. So Halloween is big for me. So
that was the most exciting thing I've heard.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back, and I always go back and like help out at the farm, because we sell them at our house. Like people come to our house, like we have a big farm, and like, you know, like they're every kind: squash, gourds, pumpkins. We deck out the whole house with, you know, Halloween decorations and stuff.
You can pumpkin, can't
I
you?
definitely can. I've done some wicked designs, and we like cook pumpkin, you know, cookies, everything, you know, all that stuff. So Halloween's big for my family because we kind of provide, you know, a lot of the decorations for everybody.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, you better post all this up.
I think I'm gonna, because I thought about this week. My mom and dad are like, we don't want to do social media. Like, you know, they're like, we don't know how to, you know, and I'm like, if you guys, like, they do pretty well with it already. But I'm like, if you guys like, and I'm just going to do it. And then maybe like, I've seen it happen, like where I've been the person on TikTok and I'm like, oh, look at this place. Like I went to Mexico City this year and I was like hitting all these spots I found on TikTok. And then like I show up there and everyone's on their phone, like, this is the spot. And I'm like, some of these places like blow up. I'm like, maybe I'll just try to blow them up on TikTok and be like, hey, come to this pumpkin patch.
I want to see a video of all the pumpkins you've carved.
I will. Okay. Yeah. We're definitely going to do some this week. So I'll definitely hit you guys with some pics.
Oh, could you do a slideshow of all the different pumpkins through the years?
I could see. I know my mom has pictures. So I'll see what I can do.
We're going to
my dad is also a very good, he's got some wicked designs. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So exciting stuff.
Are you dressing up?
I usually end up doing something, you know. I don't know what I'll do this year. I can't remember what I was last year. One year I was Tiger King, and then I was like, I don't remember what I was last time. But anyways, yeah, I'll be doing something. So
I have a couple parties that I'm going to, but I think on actual Halloween, my friend and we were talking about being like street animals.
Oh my God.
I think I'm being a possum. I got this really cool possum onesie with like a baby possum on my head.
That's great.
I think he's being a raccoon. I think we're going to like carry around this little trash can that my mom.
That's awesome.
I'm afraid to get invited to any Halloween parties because my costume's so not sexy.
Yeah.
I'm planning, as of right now, I'm planning on going as Chris Angel.
Okay, nice. I like that.
Then I'm gonna do the whole like heavy, you know, he would like heavy breathe before a magic trick. He'd be like,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I was just gonna be a lot of that in like an affliction shirt.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's awesome.
Great.
You guys are inspiring me. I have to think of something good this year.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. And I really enjoyed it. And thanks for all the good questions. That's fun.
No problem.
And everybody, go head over to YouTube, Spotify, any streaming site. I think you're on all of them.
All of them.
Head down.
Brand new song, New Medicine.
Share it, like it, comment under it.
Hell yeah.
Do your best dance.
Thank you guys so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Amazing.
Oh, so fun.
I love people who know the music industry so well. And because they have a lot of people who are in it a long time, have so much wisdom to give. and hearing it, and to our listeners, to anybody who is trying to start a band or something like that, it's such good information to have. So having like veterans, I love it.
All I
Excellent.
can really think right now is I'd really love to hear New Medicine and Hailstorm collab.
I know. Well, apparently they did. Hailstorm did the backup vocals, so we need to do some re-listens. And with that new brain information, those new Easter eggs, and for all our viewers, re-listen now that we know some
That's
secret,
awesome.
Pretty Little Podcast information. That's why we come to a Pretty Little Podcast, because we got the good questions, the good intel. How are you, Allie? How was your week? I love your makeup. I'm excited to see.
So crazy. Okay, so I get this like random flyer. Like, let me first say that for some reason I've been like obsessed with Teenage Dirtbag recently.
Yes.
The song. Like, it's just been in my head, and like I've just like wanted to hear everybody I can possibly get to cover it.
Yes.
So it was just like wild when I got invited to this fundraiser that was literally right down the street, and Wheatus was playing.
That's
so
crazy.
I went there, and I wasn't even sure like if I was even gonna get to talk to him or like what was gonna happen, because I hadn't been to this venue in a while. So let me just tell you, awesome show. It was him and his partner. They were so fun. Went up. I said to him, I was like, listen, I've tried to get you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything. And I gave him like our card, and I was like, listen, like, we'd love to have you on. I'm not gonna run your ear right now, but
yeah, but I'd love to in the future.
Check it out. He was so fun. Okay, first he gets on and he's like, listen, I know everybody, you're gonna hear Dirtbag. And then he went on to like kind of say, like, I know we're considered a one-hit wonder, and like, even though I'm okay with that, like, we actually have 2 hits. And like, it was a really fun show. His partner was absolutely amazing. And this band, Away Message, they opened for Wheatus, and I have to upload the videos because I just haven't had time, but so fun. I mean, they were really entertaining, and they were just having a blast. Like, the guy was they were all like smiling and just literally just getting lost in the vibe.
I love that. I'm so happy for you, especially like when you like it all came together. You manifested it. Is like what I like to say. You manifested.
I loved it because everybody like just kept screaming Teenage Dirtbag. So he sang it a few different times. And he was to the point where he was just like screaming out like other bands' names in the song. And so I got like tons of videos. Like, I got like the regular video. I got the video with me like in front of him. Like, it was great.
That's amazing. I love that, Allie. What a cool experience. I'm so happy you had that. Well, I want to say, thank you to all our.
Did you do anything this weekend?
Oh, I went to 3 shows. I went to a show Wednesday, I went to a Thursday, I went to a show Friday. And then Saturday, I had a bunch of errands to do, and like all my actual stuff from going out for 3 days in a row. And then I went to work yesterday. So I did not realize how long I was going to be at work. So that was that. And I came home, and came home, ate dinner, and then I went to the movies. I went and saw that new movie called The Substance. It was very Cronenberg, very creepy. And it was.
You rate it? 1 out of 10.
Did I rate it? Man, it's hard to say because it kind of reminded me of the Mia Goth, and Alexander Skarsgård and Infinity Pool. It reminded me of Infinity Pool, but weirder. It was really nice and refreshing to see Demi Moore in a movie. It was really interesting, and it had a lot of odes to old horror movies. There was a like a ode to The Thing, a lot of Kubrick movie shots and stuff like that. And I like that. How do I feel about it? I don't know yet. It's kind of one of those movies you walk out and you go, what the fuck did I just watch? You know, we all have those. So as of right now, maybe a 5. That might go up after, because horror movies are supposed to make you uncomfortable. And this one definitely did make me uncomfortable. And it wasn't the gore, but it was the discussion around aging that was almost more, and how women are objectified and stuff like that. That was more horrifying than the actual bodily horror in it, and the Cronenbergy scenes. And I think that speaks volume when the real life aspects of the horror movie, like the discussion of how men treat women as they age, and or men just treat women in general, and the over sexualization of young women and stuff like that, is more horrifying than a scene where it's blood and guts and body horror and stuff like that. And so I think it's an important film in that way. So as of 5 now, but that might go up after, I start forgetting about some of the creepy things I've watched. So if you want to go see a horror movie that's out right now that's very interesting, I would go see The Substance. And I just want to thank all our viewers for coming and listening. Tune back next week, because Allie's going to do something even more incredible, I'm sure, next week.
And for anybody that is from the Mechanicsburg area or will be out that way, Nailbite and Young Other, this will be my first time seeing Young Other perform. They will be at Love Drafts on October 5th.
Awesome sauce. So much stuff going on.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff, though. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too, and I can't wait to see those pumpkins.
Yeah, me neither. I'm literally every day I'm gonna write a comment underneath, like,
show us pumpkins. I know. I can't carve a pumpkin
patch. Pumpkin patch.
Yeah, that's us. I can't carve a pumpkin for shit.
We should do it. We should do it after he posts it, like,
just our horrible pumpkins.
No, like sharing our pumpkins that we make.
I know. We should try to make a pretty little podcast. We should try to make the logo. I can't do that.
What? Mine are not bad. Like they take me a while, but like mine have been good, except for the 1 year I tried to get like too crazy with it. And like sometimes more simple is better. I tried to do the Jack Skellington with like the wires going through, and you use toothpicks to like make it look.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the whole mouth fell apart.
I
had to like put it together for a picture.
I got to do like the 2 eyes and then the like just mouth, like, because I am not good at pumpkin carving. The knife gets slippery. My nails are too long. I get a pumpkin too big every year. So
before we go, please show off your nails because they're so pretty. You have to.
Thank you. So if you want nails like these, this is what you gotta ask.
Jesse's got a girl.
I know. If you want nails like these, ask for whatever shape. I just got I had a different shape last time. I just got them into stilettos. I like my nails a little longer usually. But what you get is you get the silver polish, like flex silver polish, and then get a silver chrome powder placed on top of it. And that's how you get, like, they look like actual metal. I really like them. I'm really happy with them.
I like gold nails. This is like all I can deal with. But
they're cute. I like them. I love them, dude. But you know,
I can't type or like do anything when I have the long nails.
Either. I don't know how I do anything at work, honestly, sometimes.
After a while I'm like, you know what, fuck it. And I like have really long nails and I'm like, yeah, when I gotta like put on my foundation and stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is why I don't usually get them this
Some of my friends text me sometimes and go, like she's typing with them nails because every word will be spelled wrong.
I guess move over to talk to text.
Yeah, I do that. I do that a lot. Also, like
that jacks my like whenever I'm saying it, like totally jacks it up.
It does do that a lot to me too. Also, sometimes I don't know. Like I feel like certain shapes are easier to text with than others. But when I don't have nails, when I don't have nails, and then I run. Also, I love the way my nails look with my finger tattoos. Like it's fun.
Okay, I have a question for you real quick, and then we'll jump off. When you do the talk to text, are you someone that if it's a completely jacked up message,
I'll send it anyway?
I do too, and I feel like it's on them to figure it out.
I don't care. Also, the other thing I'll do voice to text too, because we're iPhone people. Like we're iPhone people. I'll do like audio text, like yo, what are we getting into? Like whatever, that kind
like,
of.
I'll go back and correct. Like if I'm writing the text out, like I'll go back and correct it. Like if my like grammar is off, because in my mind I'm like that person's judging me. Like I just spelt that like the wrong way.
Realized I just turned off my interview voice and just turned on my home voice just so bad unintentionally, and somebody's going to roast me in the comments for that. But yeah, I just send it anyway, like it's on you, whatever. Also, I just voice text a lot of times with my friends. So if you have an iPhone, you're getting messages from me that are like a little audio book.
I love it.
I love it too. I'm so happy to talk to you because I missed you and I missed our producer.
And it's October.
I know it's our favorite time of the month. So thank you, all of our listeners. We appreciate you so much, and thank you to Dennis for just being the best producer in the world. And we're so excited.
We love you. And we will see everybody next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.